welcome to the Solve by Square Root station. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a couple of problems with the video so that you can kind of see and relearn the concept and see if you can figure out where your struggles lie. And then you're going to do a couple problems on your own. So the very first one we're going to do is a solve by square root, not even just solving them, but simplifying them. So 14 divided by the square root of 12. This is where a lot of you get messed up. So what we're first going to do, I'm going to see if I can break down this square root of 12. So I need to find a perfect square that can go into 12. 4 I think can do my trick. So square root of 4 and the square root of 3, right? Because 4 times 3 gives me 12. So now square root of 4, we know that's 2. And this square root of 3 is just going to come along. So square root of 12 is 2 square roots of 3. So right now I have 14 over the square root of 12. But the square root of 12, we change that into 2 square roots of 3. Now I noticed something though. 14 and 12, those guys can divide each other, right? So I'll be left with 7 square roots of 3. 7 divided by the square root of 3. Now remember guys, you can't have a square root on the bottom of a fraction. It's a big no-no. So what we're going to do is multiply by what is inside the denominator. Like that. Okay? Let's multiply this. 7 times the square root of 3. Well, that's just 7 times the square root of 3. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9. Remember, the square root of 9, well, that's just 3. And I have finished my problem because I know I don't have a square root on the bottom and no other things simplify. Now let's get into the solve by square root part of this video. So here's your steps that you're always going to want to take. You're going to isolate the squared term. AKA, you're going to get him on his own side with nobody else with him. You're going to square root both the sides, you're going to simplify, and then you want it to be x equals. So let's try a problem here. I have x plus 1 quantity squared minus 3 equals 5. So the very first thing that you need to make sure you do is get whatever is squared alone. Now you cannot make this x squared plus 1. That is not the exact same thing. So you gotta leave him as a whole unit, okay? So the first thing I noticed, I had this minus 3 over here. He can't be there. This guy needs to be the only guy on this side. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I have x plus 1 squared equals, that's canceled out, 5 plus 3, that's 8. So now what I can do is I have my x squared piece alone. So now I can square root both the sides to get rid of that squared term. Okay, left with just what's inside, x plus 1. Now don't forget that plus or minus, okay? That's some people, they get all this perfect and then they forget that plus or minus. So please keep that in the back of your head, that plus or minus is important. So now I have x plus 1 equals, I bet we can break down the square root of 8. What perfect square can come out of 8? A 4 and a 2, right? So I can make this a square root of 4, square root of 2. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, and this square root of 2 is just going to sit there. So I can make this plus or minus 2 square roots of 2. Now this is 2 times the square root of 2, alright? So when I notice x isn't alone, I haven't solved all the way. So let's subtract that 1. Now, I can't subtract the 1 from the 2 because this is multiplied. So what we're going to do is just take that negative 1 and place it right in front. You're always going to do that if you add and subtract after square rooting, okay? So I'm going to have negative 1 plus or minus 2 square roots of 2 as my final answer. Now what I would like you to do is complete the rest of the problems on the sheet from this station, and then as the entire group, when you're finished, go ahead and check your answers. See you later, Sabres.